Hey, it's DBJ, and I got another worst player video. Um, this was sparked by two other YouTube creators, Ivan Mike and the Narraider, Confessions of a Frustrated Game Master. And I have to say, this is about the player that plays other players or plays the Game Master. This is not in the game. This is outside the game. I think Ivan Mike was far more nicer than I am about this, because I've seen this plenty of times. Of course, being a worse player is like one of those things where there's always shades of so many other activities. But so let's describe what kind of behavior this is, right? This is a person who's got like a strong personality, who interrupts all the time. Not all the time, but interrupts quite often. And their personality is such that they are trying to make convincing arguments to either change the narrative or circumvent the rules or get around a ruling simply by force of either volume or energy or what have you, to essentially win the game by having rules not used correctly, to have a ruling go in their favor, or to circumvent how the rules are set up so that they have an advantage by quote unquote breaking the world, right? So let's get an example. Because I love examples. I want to give you guys a context for what I'm talking about, right? So you got yourself your classic fantasy setting, and the game master says, okay, guys, you're setting in for the night. You're in the woods. You set up camp. You go to sleep. And so another player says, well, I'll keep watch. I'll sit in the tree and keep watch. Okay. All right. Player, what are you doing? Well, I'm going to take a nap and get ready to go to sleep. Okay. Player that's keeping watch. What are you doing? Well, I'm keeping up and I'm kind of thinking about, story in the past. Okay, make a perception roll. Roll. You hear something in the woods. Now here's the worst player. The worst player says, do I hear it? Game master says, well, no, you were going to sleep. The player character that was awake, gets to make the perception roll. Well, why don't I get a perception roll? You said you were going to take a nap. Well, I wasn't asleep yet. Did I hear it? So okay, here comes the eye roll. The other player's like, well, I was keeping watch. I'm gonna go climb down the tree and move as silently to hear the sound. And the game master says, well, no, everybody else is asleep. And no one else is arguing this fact, right? No one else is setting up, no one else is raising arms. You got this one player that's like, why didn't I hear it? The game master shuts him down. Okay, so the one keeping watch goes out and goes to try to hear what's going on. Goes over, game master says, okay, make a stealth roll. Make a stealth roll. Okay, you see what looks to be a couple of goblins walking through the woods. The player that said they were going to take a nap goes, well, do I hear the goblins? I mean, he would have. I mean, if he said he saw goblins, he'd yell out and say he saw goblins, right? The player says, well, no, I haven't yelled out anything. I'm trying to hide. And here we start to go down this path of, don't I get a roll? Aren't I in the situation? Because this player starts using everything from hogging the spotlight to metagaming. So this player is trying to use metagaming. Well, they heard it at the table, but in character, their character is asleep. They would have never known these things, right? Unless the game master, who's trying to set up a situation which you as a player may not know what's going on, you didn't get a roll, okay? So then we move on with the adventure. They go into a deep dungeon. They're checking out the room. Game master says to the annoying player, well, what are you doing? Well, I'm going to check the walls and check for secret doors. Okay. Another player, what are you going to do? Well, there's a chest in the corner, so I'm going to mess with the chest and try to open it up. Okay, you find out that it's locked. The player looking for secret doors goes, I'm gonna open a chest. Well, wait, you just said you were checking secret doors. I asked it for everybody's actions. One person said they're reading their spell book. You know, another player says they're in the corner praying to their god to get their spells back. It's well, no, 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 no. I'm going to check out the chest. Okay. Other player says, well, I'm standing in front of it. I'm, you know, messing with the lock. I'm going to try to open it up. Okay. Well, the lock is stiff, but it opens up for you. Okay. You open it up and you see there's some items in it. The player who originally said they were checking out secret doors. I'm going to grab if there's a weapon inside, I'm grabbing it. So are you moving your other player aside? Well, they didn't see it first. I saw it. Okay. We get into a third situation. Maybe they're trying to cast a spell. I cast a spell at the goblins that are charging us. Okay, your spell can get 18 of the goblins. 18? No, I wanted to cast a spell that gets all of them. Well, they're kind of scattered. You can't get all of them. Well, why not? Well, I mean, that's just not how, you know, I'm saying, like, they're in a big horde. They're like trying to surround you. You went into their dungeon or whatever, their encampment and everything, and you got their gold and stuff, so they're just surrounding you. So you can only get 18 of them. Well, I'm not going to cast a spell if I can only get 18 of them. Well, it wouldn't matter because they're actually trying to surround you guys. So you really can't cast like a fireball to surround all of them. It'll only be the ones that are, you know, facing you. And it's a pretty big ball of fire. But if you know, you can get like 18 of them. Well, in that case, I'm not doing it. I mean, that's not fair. Well, I mean, you said you were going to cast a fireball, and I got everybody's actions. Do you want to cast it? I mean, I'll let you take it back. What else do you want to do? I mean, well, there's nothing else I can do. I mean, I want to get all the goblins. Well, you know, there's other players. I mean, they're going to, you know, all you guys are going to get a chance to do something. Why don't you think of, you know, doing something else? Don't you have other spells or something? You could do that. Well, I mean, my intention was to cast a fireball to get them all. And I mean, you're telling me I can't do it. I mean, that's not right. Why won't you just let me cast a fireball and get all the goblins? I mean, a fireball is a pretty big thing. That's the whole point. Goblins supposed to be, I mean, the fireball is supposed to be able to take out, you know, a horde of creatures. I mean, it's like in the rules. I mean, you know, everybody knows that a big, you know, area effect spell is supposed to affect everybody. That's the whole point of having it. If you're not going to let me affect all the goblins, then I mean, you're kind of taking away my agency. Really? Well, no. I mean, the narrative is that they're surrounding you. So, I mean, there's enough for everybody. There's a big horde of them, and you guys. I mean, initially, you guys said you want to stay in the encampment, even though you knew that more and more goblins were going to surround you. Come on, I think you're being unfair. So good. My point is about the player that likes to play to other players and play the game master is they start making these arguments in order to get their way. Maybe it's to avoid a roll that they know they're going to fail. It's to cause more damage, knowing that they can't really do it. It's to change the narrative. Maybe they were on one side of the room, now they're on another side of the room. It's well, I'm going to walk around with my bow cocked. Okay. You walk around, you hear a noise. Everybody roll initiative. Well, I mean, I should be able to shoot first, right? I mean, I said the first time I hear a noise, I'm going to shoot the bow. I know, but we have rules with, you know, just everybody rolls initiative. You know, I'm not even going to let you have us, you know, be surprised. Just roll initiative to see, you know, who goes first. Well, I should go first. I mean, I have my bow drawn. I mean, the minute I hear something, I'm shooting a bow. I should be first. Well, no, there's another player character in the game. I mean, their dexterity is higher than yours, and they were just as ready to fight. I mean, just roll initiative. Well, I mean, why should I have to roll initiative? I told you. I mean, I should have the first action. I should be the first one to go. This is the kind of behavior I'm talking about, where They try to circumvent the rules. They try to get their way in little bits and pieces. And this person is, you know, you can combine like the spotlight hog, the metagamer, the rules lawyer. It's like all these little bits and pieces they're pulling from. But essentially what they're trying to do is they're using their personality. They're using their emotion. They're using their energy to override other people. When one player is trying to take an action, they will try to override what they're trying to do, to be the first, to be the best, to have the better tactical ability to do something. It's convincing the cleric that no, you shouldn't play your own character. You should heal mine because that's your only reason for being here. It's the person that says, well, no, I should have the ability to go first, and I should have the ability to take yet one more action beyond what I could, even though we're all following the same rules of the game. There's a reason for having rules in the game, and I'm not a big rules guy, right? I'm the railroady hippie guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm the guy who's loosey-goosey. I'm very zen about things. But you do have those players who try to play you, right? There's a lot of frustration. I thought I'd turn it off. There's a lot of frustration with player characters who, other players at the table who play with these people who try to use intimidation. Maybe they try to rationalize it for claiming that they know more about the game, and they intimidate up and coming game masters, dungeon masters, storytellers, torchbearers, whatever you want to call them, flame tenders, to capitulate to their demands, to circumvent being surprised, to circumvent saving throws, to circumvent skill rolls. There's a reason why your character has attributes and skills. Make the roll, then narrate the outcome. If you lost, you lost. Narrate that with as much energy as you can, as if you succeeded. Why is there why are there initiative systems in games? Because it's to find out if you are fast enough. It doesn't matter if you're the first person that has an arrow knocked and you hear a noise. Maybe somebody is faster than you. You created the character. If your character is slower than someone else's, then that's the case. And guess what? We have dice as a randomizer. And that randomizer allows us who want to improvise when we're in a role-playing game to improvise those randomized aspects. I try to swing at it with my sword. I roll a randomizer. That randomizer tells me whether I succeeded or failed, and how, depending on the game, how much did I fail or succeed by. And then I narrate those actions. I don't say, well, I planned on cutting his head off. Why can't I cut his head off after rolling a 3 and I needed to roll a 35? You don't yell at the game master for that. That's just a random aspect of the game. You are not your character. The character has attributes and abilities. Some are smarter than others. Some are weaker. Some are fast. Some are perceptive. Some are very charismatic. And then we abide by those rules. Now, does that mean all the rules have to be implemented all the time, 100%? No, because it can get quite boring. You know, look at that kid. But let me just end this by saying that, everybody hates that one person that wants to play the other players and wants to play the game master. This may not be their fault, right? Because I'm a nice guy. And I understand that some people get very impassioned. And they can get so drawn into the drama that they absolutely positively want to jump in, and they imagine themselves being these great heroes. And by virtue of speaking, they want their actions to become reality. That is not always the case. When there is a chance of success or failure, we have a randomized effect. If there is no reason to have a chance of success or failure, or if that chance of success or failure creates a locked door, I have videos about the locked door effect, where if everyone fails to open the locked door, does that stop the adventure? Why bother having anybody roll, right? So the idea is that this person wants to play the game master. They're not playing the game, they're playing the person on the other side. This can work the opposite way, where they demand roles where there are none. Okay? They demand to see things when they can't see them. They demand to have action when they are not given any. It's the, hey, the other players are witnessing something. Shouldn't I witness that too and be there? It is it is this thing of, oh, the other player character made a deal with someone else that I never saw. Can I make a roll to see what's in their pocket? Well, no, that's a role-playing thing. You weren't there. You didn't see it. You don't know what happened. How about giving an opportunity for your other players to talk to your character and role-play it out? When in doubt, role-play it out. Don't try to play people's personalities. Everyone's different. Hell, a ton of us in the role-playing community, which is bizarre, is that many of us are socially awkward. We don't like to speak in front of cameras. We don't want to speak in front of crowds. We don't like to look stupid. We don't want to be the center of attention. But yet we play role-playing games to allow ourselves to be other people. When you have a player who is trying to berate you or deceive you or intimidate you to circumvent those rules and to circumvent the game, they are not making your fun. They're taken away from it. And if you're that person who's guilty of it, are you impassioned like that? You need to calm it down. You're not helping anybody out. Okay, I'm going to end the rant here. I'm DBJ. And as always, when in doubt, role play it out. That's my new mantra. Everybody, have a good one. And by the way, I'm just being sarcastic. You know it is. Have some fun with it. Answer, comment, throw your thumbs down because I suck. Exactly. Let it all out, guys. Let it all out. Let's just solve these things, these problems. Let's all get together. Let's all have fun. Greatest advice, man, let's talk it out. You know, what's going on? You know, are you being a problem? Maybe I'm being an asshole. You know, you say, oh man, every time I do that, I feel like I'm a big brown sphincter. Okay, maybe I should stop that. Guys, I'm DBJ. Have a good one.